Tonight, we honour our past and reveal our future. Join us now at the winner's stage. Please welcome to the stage a Le Mans podium finisher, championship driver, and a lifelong ambassador of motorsport, Justin Bell.
Well, welcome. That was a nice intro, wasn't it? Thank you so much for being here at Chateau McLaren. As my script said, un petit peu de la belle France, which is not why you're here to hear an Englishman butcher French. But it really is, as you can see, a spectacular house, and for good reason, because, well, first of all, I'm Justin Bell, as she just said, and I've had a long time history with McLaren, and I couldn't be happier to be here tonight, especially as this really does kick off the best weekend in the automotive world here on the Monterey Bay Peninsula with the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance on Sunday. 30 years ago this year, we were at Le Mans, and we went in, there were 4 or 5 McLaren F1 GTRs, the unicorn of the time. Everybody wanted it as a poster on their wall, and very few people got to drive it. And 30 years ago in June, JJ Leto, Yannick Dalmas, and Massanori Sakia, they took overall the victory in the McLaren F1 GTR. It was outstanding because no one thought we could do it. And even equally as surprised was McLaren, actually, because we were up against prototypes. Yet the car was so sophisticated and so amazing to drive that it lasted the distance ahead of every expectation. It really was, if you were there, it was like a must-remember moment and must-be-there moment. And for me, I really was there. We actually led through the night for about 12 hours in the rain. I was with my father, Derek Bell, and Andy Wallace, and we were in the Harrods McLaren. It was the yellow one with the green stripes. And I thought JJ was here. I was going to worry about how I was going to deal with this, but I remember him coming to overtake me in the middle of the night. He was on Michelin's, I was on Goodyear's, and as he hit the brakes, I thought, yeah, as he disappeared past me in the rain into the lead, I thought, somehow when I get home, I'm going to have to explain to my dad how I lost Le Mans. But it wasn't just down to me. It was an incredible moment. We finished first and second in class, first and third. Mario Andretti was finishing second in a prototype with his son. And to see McLaren finish first, third, fourth, fifth, and 13th, I think it was extraordinary. And it really started a legacy that we are still living with today and appreciating, respecting. And every car that you see out there, its DNA really came from that moment, and of course the whole Bruce McLaren story. So I really would like to invite up 2 very special gentlemen, because obviously we have Project Endurance and we're all desperate to see what's under here. Nick Collins, who is CEO of McLaren Automotive, and Zach Brown, CEO of McLaren Racing. Gentlemen, come on up. Big round of applause. Well, first of all, should we give a big round of applause for how McLaren are doing in Formula 1 at the moment? Yeah.
And IndyCar.
And IndyCar, exactly. And Nick, a big round of applause for how good the cars look outside. Thank you so much for the vehicles we see here today. I'm going to start with you, Nick, because obviously everybody wants to know what's under the silk. What is under the silk?
Well, we'll say that in a couple of minutes, but first of all, my sincere thank you all to coming this evening. My first event here in the US as CEO of McLaren Auto. I've been in the role for about 100 days now. I think I've talked to Zach every one of those 100 days, which is awesome. And, you know, I love this brand. I've been an enthusiast of McLaren since I was a boy back home in the UK, in the era of Prost and Senna racing in Formula 1, and I've loved the brand ever since. And as Bruce McLaren said, the first requirement is enthusiasm. Not just mild enthusiasm, but a burning enthusiasm. And we've got that in spades, both of us, for this brand. We've got a lot of exciting stuff to come from McLaren Auto as we go forwards. And what I've been saying to everybody, the taste of it is everything we've always done, but even more of it, and even better, and then a few other special things around the edges of it as well. And in that spirit, Project Endurance is the first step in that. It's the first of its kind collaboration with McLaren Racing to create an authentic hypercar track program. An LMDh car for the track, born out of racing, not a road car that's been taken into a race car, but an awesome race car that's going to be a track car. And we can't wait for you to see that in a minute.
Zach, I'll turn it to you now. IndyCar, leading the Formula One World Championship. IndyCar, what an amazing year you've had. McLaren Racing just continues to push the barriers and excel. But WEC, that's the championship this will be eligible for. I mean, that is another mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's super cool. So good to see everyone this evening. Yeah, you know, if you look back at our history, we're the only team to have ever won the Triple Crown, which of course is Monaco, the Indy 500, and Le Mans on our debut, which we need some drivers with some easier names. I didn't envy you having to repeat all three of those.
Thank you.
Justin, Nick, and Zach. It's just so much easier.
Now you mentioned it, Zach, it really does go well.
Do you think we should drive one?
I think we should give it a go. So we've got this great history. We've had a real desire to work more closely with McLaren Automotive, you know, specifically around racing. And so if you look at the list of manufacturers involved in WEC is quite impressive. And we like to beat them on and off the track and compete with them. And so that's exactly what we wanted to do. I think our three racing series give our fans, our partners, our customers, our dealers, our employees, a lot of racing to cheer on, because that's obviously our DNA, which has then manifested itself into an awesome automotive business. And so super excited to have announced this at Le Mans. We'll be racing in 2027 with two cars, and it should be pretty spectacular.
Really, this is the ultimate collaboration between automotive and racing. I guess both sides will benefit greatly from an enterprise like this. From your point of view, obviously, as you say, 100 days in the job, what does this do to revitalize and energize the job that you have ahead?
Well, look, I think the first thing is we're both so enthusiastic about the brand and the company, and so is the whole company. You know, both sides of it. People are super behind what we're trying to do here. This is really going to be something quite incredible. You know, very humbly, best race team in the world in McLaren Racing, bar none at the moment. You know, constructors champions last year. I hope I don't jinx it, but well on the way for both constructors and drivers championship this year. It's an incredible team, and it's not just the performances. It's the guys as well. It starts with Zach, it goes to the drivers, just an incredible group of people. And that spirit comes through in the company and the brand. So they've got the lead on the race car. What McLaren Auto is doing here is taking the lead on the customer program. We're world-class at track cars and track experiences and customer journeys. So we're leading the definition of the customer program, the customer track program. Our design team is working very closely with the race engineers to hone the look and feel of the car. But it really is a collaboration between both groups.
Zach, the Triple Crown in motorsports is an elusive beast. Of course, McLaren have done it before, 74, 84, and then 2025. That is Le Mans, Indy, and what's the
Monaco.
Monaco.
So we ticked the first of the what we're calling the papaya era. We won Monaco this year, so we're 33% of the way there in the papaya era.
The other 33 at Le Mans can be quite a challenge, as you know as much as anyone. Setting yourself a goal, it is a remarkable feat to have done that. Setting yourself the goal to do it in 1 year or in a 12-month span is really what you're putting yourself up for, isn't it?
That's the first I've heard of being signed up for
that's
a timing prediction.
Well, we like that, don't we? A little pressure.
We'd like to keep it in the papaya era, which kind of started in 17, 18 when we went back to our, it wasn't quite papaya in 17, but we kind of went orange and then papaya. If you could do it, hey, if we're going to get greedy, let's not just win all three races, let's win all three championships in the same year while we're at it.
Oh, we like that. Yeah. Okay, well, you raised the
You're
bar.
Not thinking big enough.
Yeah, no, I can tell that.
I think if we do that, we need a celebration car to go with that road car.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And someone to drive it. Yeah. Obviously, when you set a goal like that, and you've got the road car side of it, you're dealing with a very interesting new evolution in drivers, I think, that McLaren is capturing, and there's a few of them here. One of my friends is here tonight. A gentleman driver that comes into the sport, that he wants to be a part of it, successful in his other life in business. The road cars are taken care of, but he wants to drive a race car. this pretty much would be the ultimate car that a gentleman like that could drive.
Oh, yeah.
But tell us about that program.
I mean, this is a proper racing car. There's nothing detuned about it. This will be what we're racing at, at Le Mans. So this thing will be capable of 200 plus miles an hour and do all the stuff that you see on TV. So it'll absolutely, people will be able to drive them. You want to make sure you have some good experience, some good instructors, some good preparation, some simulator time, because it's a serious race car, but it is for those that love to drive, will be absolutely the ultimate experience.
And you'll see on Zach's social media him in one at some point.
For sure.
For sure. Well, what do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we look at the car without much further ado? Let's go to the front. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Nick. Zach, come on back on. And I was being run through earlier a little bit of the significance of this paint scheme. Zach, are you able to talk a little bit about that?
It's the first time I've seen it, because when we launched it in Le Mans, we had our camo livery on it, which is how we launched our Formula One and our IndyCar this year. So this is, I knew what it was going to look like, but the actual first time I've seen it, and it looks kind of perfect. So
it does look perfect.
We got to kind of see where sponsors take us from a final livery, but if our final livery ended up like this, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, and it's also got cues from the Bruce McLaren era with the number on the front. We got the Kiwi sort of logo somewhere on the side here. It does look outstanding. When you come up afterwards and look at it, everybody, you'll see how narrow it is, the monocoque and the aero on this. Having seen where the LMDh, which is the ultimate in sports car racing, the manufacturers are able to customize within the regulations to make it have the spirit of and the DNA of the brand. Are you pretty happy when you see it look like this?
Yeah, it looks spectacular. And this is where, working with Nick's team to ultimately come up with a McLaren designed and inspired racing car, and then working with the racing team to make sure it's obviously optimized from an aero point of view and performance. And I think we've nailed it here.
Wow. Nick, for you, obviously, when you road cars and that whole division is your responsibility now globally. Most of the people here, obviously, we live in America. The importance of America, the importance of showcasing the abilities of McLaren, both automotive and racing, must be a big part of your job and source of a lot of pride.
Yeah, it's a huge part of the job and a huge source of pride. The US is more than half of our global volume, but a huge amount of our global passion. And it's a growing passion as well, whether it's growing through the race team or through the road cars. And look, I'm absolutely committed to this market. We all are. We've got some of our retail partners here. They're absolutely incredible. They're massive advocates of the brand. We just want to do more and more. So you'll see us a lot more in the US. We're very committed here, and we've got a lot of good road car ideas and maybe even a few other race car ideas, haven't we, that we can work on in the future.
Perfect. Well, thank you for saying that. And Zach, finally, the timeline to 27. What can we expect to see? The car testing, team selection, drivers?
Yep. So we have a couple drivers signed. We just haven't announced them yet. A couple more ready to go. We're working through whether we want to do a 2 or 3 car driver lineup for the season. You obviously have to run 3 drivers at Le Mans, and Qatar is a 10-hour race, so you really want to have 3 there, but there's some logic behind only having 2 drivers is maybe the most optimum level of performance. So how many drivers do we need? We're kind of working through that. If you went with 2 during the season, gives you a chance to maybe do something special at Le Mans, Qatar. So we like to do cool things like bring Fernando Alonso to the Indy 500 and things of that nature. So, if you kind of do it that way. It opens up the door for maybe doing something a bit cool there. We'll be on track. The Q1 of 26, we'll do 3 30-hour tests because you want to run them even beyond the 24 to see what breaks and try and get everything the last 30 hours, and then you'll be good for 24. And then just start unveiling things behind the program, right? We've got a year to talk about it before it hits the track, so we have other surprises coming, other storylines, if you'd like, that will keep everyone informed of our activities, and then hit the track for the first time racing in 27. Would love to go to the 24 hours of Daytona, but that's probably more of a 2028 thing. And even coming back to Nick's point, IMSA, which is the North American version of WEC, is of high interest to us. North America is very important to us as a racing team. That's why we have the IndyCar team, is for the North American market. So we've got one eye on IMSA, but 2 eyes right now on WEC, and we need to focus on that and see where the program can grow.
Well, thank you for that. As you may have noticed, you see Zach in the pit box every weekend at a Grand Prix. And you might think, why does he come to Monterey? Well, he's a racing driver this weekend, so the man can't get enough of racing. A round of applause, please, and a big thank you to Nick and Zach for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. And enjoy the evening. As you remember, if you were at McLaren's party last year, this is the place to be, and it was worth the trip down the little lane to get here. So enjoy it, take a look at the car, take pictures, and thank you very much for coming, everybody. Thank you.